So yesterday I made some raviolis. For this experiment I used the homemade noodle recipe from the cookbook Cooking from Quilt Country. Having collected all the ingredients, I got cooking. The cookbook said, place the flour in a medium mixer bowl, make a well in the center, and add the rest of the ingredients. So here I am trying to make a well in the center, which I don't think worked that good. But after digging my well, I was ready to add the other ingredients. I added salt, oil, and water. Last of all, I added the egg, which I cracked open, and then, wait, what in the Shire is that? So there's a speck in my egg of like brown or red or something. I tried to scoop it out the shell, but it didn't work, so I ended up having to get a fork and scooping it out with that. Next, the cookbook said, with a fork, stir to combine until a ball of dough forms. And that I did. So I mixed, and I mixed, and I mixed, and then I mixed some more, and then the ball of dough began to form, and then my brother stuck his hamster in the camera, and then I told him to go away, and then I scrubbed the counters vigorously as the Mad Hatter futter rockin' on the day when Alice slew the Jabberwocky. That being done, I got my pan, floured it, and then started to knead my bread. Noodles. So I kneaded my noodle dough until it looked smooth, and then the cookbook said to cover the dough with a tea towel and allow it to rest for 45 minutes. I covered it with a towel and put it in the oven. The oven was turned off, I was just using it as a storage place. Around 45 minutes later, I came back and took the dough out of the oven. The cookbook said to cut the dough in half, and so I did. According to the cookbook, the next thing to do was roll out one half to an approximate 14 by 8 inch rectangle. It will not be quite paper then. So I rolled it out and didn't measure it at all, and it wasn't really quite a rectangle. I rolled it out some more and some more and some more, and then it was done! Then the cookbook said to allow the rolled out dough to stand 20 to 30 minutes, so I left it out to rest under a towel. After the 20 to 30 minutes, it was time to abandon the cookbook and go out on our own. The cookbook was planning on drying their noodles, and I was not. So the next thing I did was cut the noodles into little squares, which were kind of small for raviolis. They're more like mini raviolis. So I cut them and cut them and cut them, and some of them were triangular, which wasn't really great for making raviolis, but you'll see how that turned out. The next thing I did was get out the mozzarella. I was going to just put mozzarella inside them, instead of meat or ricotta cheese or four cheese, whatever else people put in raviolis. I was planning on it being just sort of a gooey mozzarella filling. Then I mixed it with a spoon because I couldn't find a fork. The next thing was to try to form raviolis. So what I did was I laid out one of my triangular corners, put some cheese on it, and then attempted to put another triangular piece on top. I tried to stretch it out some, it didn't really fit. I tried to flatten the edges with a fork, but it didn't really work, it didn't stay closed. I tried pressing with my fingers, that didn't work either, and so then I ended up just folding over the edges so they're sort of, I don't know, almost like a crust, I guess, around the edges. After several raviolis, I discovered another way that worked pretty well for sealing them. Smashing them with my hands. It closed them very well too. Eventually, while making these raviolis, I came up with a way where I could make them look slightly like raviolis instead of flat pancakes. And so I finished forming the raviolis. There's 3 different styles of them. The original folded over kind, the smashed kind, and then the finally looking like ravioli kind. I ended up with 22 raviolis total. I covered the plate they were on with plastic wrap, put them on top of the cheese bowl, and stuck them in the fridge till dinner time. Once it was dinner time, I boiled the water for them, and then put the raviolis in one by one. Once they were done, they all looked like that. Once I had sauce on them, they all looked like that. Finally, once they had sauce and cheese on them, they looked like that, which was pretty good. Although the cheese is not gooey like stuffed crust like I had originally planned, they still were pretty good raviolis, and that's it. Thanks for watching, and